The 2025 Formula 1 season was meant to be the heroic new chapter for Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. The 7-time world champion finally made the move to Maranello to chase his lifelong dream, racing in red and becoming world champion for an 8th time. That way, no one could ever question his place as the greatest of all time. But now that we're well past the halfway point of the season, reality looks very different. Ferrari is struggling with technical issues, Hamilton can't match the pace of teammate Charles Leclerc, and the team's updates seem to be doing little to improve his performance. It's gone so far that Hamilton has even suggested a driver swap at the Scuderia. But before we do a deep dive into the issues going on for Lewis Hamilton, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the Racing News 365 channel. Now, let's get on with the video. Hamilton's frustration boils over. After qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix, Hamilton could no longer hide his frustration. While Leclerc shocked the paddock by taking pole position, Hamilton ended up in a lowly 12th and walked away early from qualifying after being eliminated in Q2. "The team's not the problem," he told Sky Sports. "The car's on pole, so maybe it's time to change the driver. I'm useless." Even more telling was his reply when asked if a better result had been possible that weekend. "Not once this weekend," he said bluntly. It wasn't the first time Hamilton had shown this kind of brutal self-criticism. Over the team radio, he was also heard saying, every time, a frustration we've seen before during his final years at Mercedes, especially during tough qualifying sessions. The numbers don't lie. Unfortunately for Hamilton, the stats paint a painful picture. Leclerc leads the qualifying head-to-head 10-4, and the gap has only grown as the season has progressed. Leclerc has scored 5 podiums so far, while Hamilton's best result remains a 4th place. He's 6th in the drivers' standings, trailing his teammate by 42 points, and championship leader Oscar Piastri by 175. For a 7-time world champion, that's a hard pill to swallow. The only real highlight so far? A dominant win in the China sprint race, a format that usually doesn't see too much risk-taking. It offered hope, maybe even more than that, but in the following weekends, that hope quickly faded once again. So what about Ferrari as a team? How good are they really? They've certainly not been sitting still. The Scuderia laid out a clear development plan aimed at solving core issues with the steering and suspension of the SF25. And to be fair, it seems to be working. Well, at least on one side of the garage. In July, both Hamilton and Leclerc tested a new rear suspension at Mugello, hoping it would unlock performance. Ferrari's approach focused on addressing fundamental weaknesses in the car's handling to turn the season around. And in a way, it's worked. After the Austrian Grand Prix, Ferrari jumped to 2nd in the Constructors' Championship, partly thanks to those SF25 upgrades. But here's the catch. They seem to be working mostly for Charles Leclerc. After testing the new suspension at Mugello, Hamilton said he didn't feel any difference. That says a lot. It suggests his driving style doesn't suit the development direction Ferrari has chosen. Leclerc, on the other hand, clearly does benefit. His surprise pole in Hungary, Ferrari's first of the season, showed the car is moving in the right direction, just not in a way that suits Hamilton. A Ferrari insider described Hamilton's work ethic as hungry, but that alone isn't bridging the technical gap. It's even been reported that Hamilton has held critical meetings with senior Ferrari staff after his disappointing weekend in the Belgian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Leclerc is flourishing. Whilst Hamilton struggles, Leclerc is thriving. The Monegasque hasn't just dominated in qualifying, he's also showing more consistency during races. His pole in Hungary was a masterclass in adapting to changing track temperatures, beating both McLarens and securing Ferrari's first pole of the year. Leclerc has kept things diplomatic when asked about Hamilton. "I have no doubt this is just a one-off for him. He'll bounce back very soon. He's a 7-time world champion for a reason. One weekend doesn't change that." But behind the polite words lies a clear truth. Leclerc has the upper hand in this teammate battle. He simply seems more in time with what the SF25 needs to perform. Hamilton keeps searching for answers. Hamilton's issues go beyond just driving. He's admitted to bombarding the team with documents, technical reports and suggestions for how to improve the car. Leclerc responded by saying he's definitely still involved in the development process, hinting that there might be tension brewing over who gets to steer the car's future direction. After the Hungarian Grand Prix, Hamilton cryptically said there was a lot going on behind the scenes, a hint perhaps at internal discussions within Ferrari about how to move forward. What now? That's the big question. Former F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone believes he does know the answer. In his view, Lewis would be best bowing out of the sport with dignity. Lewis is very talented, was and probably still is, said Ecclestone, speaking to the Daily Mail. But like a lot of leading sports personalities, when they reach the top, there is only one way to go, and it's not a good direction. It's only down. He may not think it, but he will soon get used to doing other stuff away from motor racing, in retirement. I think he should have done it a while ago. The guy is not a cheat, but he would be cheating himself if he goes on. He should stop now. If I were looking after him, I would negotiate with Ferrari immediately and say, if you have someone to replace Lewis, he'll step aside, remarked the 94-year-old. Do you agree with Ecclestone's views? Let us know in the comments below. As it stands, the chances of Lewis actually throwing in the towel and calling it a day don't seem at all likely. Which brings us to the next big question. Can the current problems be fixed? Part of Hamilton's struggle might be baked into the SF25's DNA. The car has been designed around a philosophy that fits Leclerc better. While Charles can adapt to the car's quirks, Hamilton appears to be fighting with elements that just don't match his preferences. Ferrari's focus on solving steering and suspension issues makes sense technically, but in practice, it seems to be helping only Leclerc. For Hamilton, it means having to accept the car as it is, rather than shaping it to what he likes. Something he managed so well during his peak years at Mercedes. He's made it clear that he wants to put his stamp on the 2026 car, though it's unclear exactly what he means by that. Still, Ferrari now has all his feedback. Those documents may prove valuable as F1 heads into the new power unit regulations. It's ironic that Hamilton's long-awaited Ferrari move coincides with what might be the twilight of his prime. At the Hungaroring, a track where he holds the record for most wins and most poles, he couldn't even crack the top 10 in qualifying. That says a lot about the depth of his current struggles. The dream of ending his career on a high in Ferrari red feels further away than ever, and as time kicks on, Hamilton faces one of the biggest challenges of his career, reinventing himself in a team that wasn't built around him. The search for answers continues, but the real question is, will he find them in time to make the Ferrari dream a reality? Be sure to let us know your thoughts on this video and Hamilton's current struggles in the comment section below, and please do smash the like button and subscribe to the Racing News 365 channel. Until the next time, see you later.